The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, through the European Union FAO co-funded project, has on Wednesday hands over laboratory equipment to Food Safety and Quality Authority FSQA. The laboratory equipment is part of the EU's co-funded project called Improving Food Security and Nutrition in the Gambia through Food Fortification. The equipment will enable the FSQA to improve the legislative and regulatory environment for food fortification and contribute to assuring an increased availability of fortified foods in compliance with the food fortification regulation through the monitoring, sampling, and testing. Speaking at the handing over ceremony, Fatou Samba, Vice Chairperson of FSQA, says the equipment will help provide scientific answers to the foods in the country.
The Food Safety and Quality Authority approaches to food safety is anchored on science and scientific-based decision-making. The inspection regime employed by the authority is based on established scientific risk. The approach of using science for food control allows the country to have a preventative system, rather a reactive food safety control system. The scientific approach is anchored on a continuous system of monitoring with a rigorous testing regime. The data obtained from continuous monitoring and testing of foods will provide necessary scientific information to understand the trends and the problems of food safety in the country on both the imported and exported foods and foods produced placed in our market.
Mushibudi Rampedi, FAO representative to the Gambia, says they hope that the equipment will address the problems of FSQA.
The equipment that we will be handing over today has been listed. We hope that it will improve the capacity and the mandate of FSQA, and it will help us address the deficiencies that have been pointed out by the earlier speakers. Nationally, we do accept and recognize that we still have to deal with iron deficiency, vitamin A deficiency, and iodine deficiency. And for the Gambia, we still have a lot of work to do because for now, only about 10% of the household have got are consuming adequately iodized salt, whereas globally the expectation is that at least 90% of households should have adequate iodine.
Evangelina Blanco Gonzalez, Program Manager of the EU Delegation to the Gambia, explains the importance of laboratory machines.
We are finalizing the project, and we are coming to witness one of the key achievements, which is the provision of equipment, very important equipment, to do testing and of different products through. We will see later the equipment supply is an atomic absorption machine, a high-performance liquidity chromatography machine, and a UV electrophotometer. All of this is top-notch material that will allow to the government to look at, according to the as part of this project, one of the key achievements has been the finalization of a regulation on food fortification.
Meanwhile, Abdul Aziz Sise, coordinator of the National Alliance for Food Fortification (NAF), says despite their progress in food fortification, lack of equipment was one of their biggest challenges.
One of the things that we really also want to bring in this country and see how best we can improve that. That is like to come up with the regulations, to come up with the standards. Of course, because we are starting, we cannot make mandatory to all the food vehicles to say they all need to be fortified, but at least the key ones that we've been struggling with over the years, we want to make sure that they are all regulated, we all have standards for them, And not only do we have those documents in place, but we'll also work towards implementing them in full. So the key thing that was missing at the time was to equip our laboratories. Yes, we have the regulations, we have the standards, we have the platform that bring the public-private sector together, where we discuss about policy issues, address malnutrition. But one of our big challenges at the time was how do we really test some of those food to see that we don't only have the presence of the micronutrients in them, but there is an adequate micronutrient or fortificants in them. Because when we started with the salt iodization, the only thing at the time that we can do is to test to see the presence of the iodine in the salt. When it comes to the titration test to know the level of iodine, it was a challenge. Talk less of other micronutrients in the food vehicle that will require the country sending some of those samples outside was so tiring and also take a lot of time and with a lot of resources to do that. If you want to move ahead as a country, that was not the way forward. And I think today what we are doing is the way forward for this country. Today we can do our titration test to know the level of all the micronutrients in our food vehicle without going anywhere.
The equipment supply includes an atomic absorption machine, HPLC machine, and UV electro photometer. Reporting for Kerr, Fatou. I am Landin Cisse.